Welcome to Inside Circle. I'm Mark Webster.
And I'm Cameron Brown.
We had an eventful weekend. Man, I tell you this, man. The Super Bowl. What are your thoughts on that?
Super Bowl was crazy. It was a good game by both teams. Shout out to the Patriots for winning.
Boo.
But I think the Seahawks definitely had that game. It was a awkward end of the game. You know, a very crazy pass caught, and then an interception to end the game. I don't know why you don't run the ball right there. You have Marshawn Lynch, one of the best running backs in the NFL, arguably the strongest back in the NFL. His nickname is Beast Mode. Nickname is Beast Mode. And you pass the ball at the 1 yard line. I just think that's ridiculous to me. I mean, you know what? Pete Carroll okayed it. Russell Wilson thought it was okay, obviously, because he went along with it. We were yet to hear how Marshawn Lynch felt about it, and we probably won't get to hear how he felt about it. So I just think it was a ridiculous play call, and if they would have ran the ball, we'd be talking about another Super Bowl champion, the Seahawks, not the Patriots.
Yeah, you know, Cameron, you and I both talked about this several times over the week, and there's always a time that where you might want to run the ball, but the play call might not be for it. So, for example, you know, you have the New England Patriots. They have a really good defense. What the goal was to spread them out, and that's what they did. But Russell Wilson made the wrong throw.
If he'd have just threw it in his numbers, if he had threw the ball in numbers instead of leading them, that would have been the catch. And then, like I said, we'd still be talking about another Super Bowl champion right now. But that's not what happened. He led the guy in interception was thrown.
Yeah, but this is going to be a big offseason for the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, yeah, of course. With 3 injuries to some of the top players, and Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, and Cam Chancellor. A torn MCL in Cam, Earl Thomas, I think he has a torn labrum, and Richard Sherman has to have Tommy John surgery, I believe.
Yeah, it's the Tommy Johnson. Yeah. It's going to be – well, we don't know how that would have affected the game plan.
Sure, because they played well with the injuries.
They really did.
They played great throughout the injuries.
Patriots – you have to give the Patriots credit, too. Tom Brady really put the team on his back.
2 interceptions.
Okay, you might say 2 interceptions, but you have to look at his overall play. And you know what? He might be arguably one of the best quarterbacks to ever play.
He is one of the best quarterbacks to ever pick it up, and I give them respect where it's due. But I'm just saying, I don't think he was the MVP of the game. I don't know who was the MVP. Maybe give it to the defense. Give it to the rookie that caught the interception.
Yeah, give it to Malcolm Butler.
Give it to somebody. I don't think he won the game because if Seahawks win, we're talking about how Tom Brady threw 2 interceptions right now.
Not really.
I know it's an if, but I mean that's what you're going to hear is Tom Brady throws 2 interceptions. It happens. That's what happened. Tom Brady threw 2 interceptions. Seahawks had a chance to win at the end. They didn't. They didn't come up with it. Terrible play call.
Or we might be hearing about how the cheaters never win phrase, but that really didn't play out well.
Cheaters. Yeah. I'm not a big Patriots fan.
Neither am I. My team has 6. Yeah, no one in Indianapolis is a Patriots fan.
But yeah,
that's life for you.
That's NFL. In other news, Syracuse. How do you feel about them banning themselves from the tournament?
Well, you know, it's a leadership thing right now because them being under investigation, it shows that it was the right thing to do before the NCAA gets involved. And when the NCAA gets involved, that'll allow them to get a 3-year suspension from the postseason. So they did the right thing by doing the 1 year.
They can still get a 3-year suspension. If the NCAA finds something too crazy, they can still suspend them. But 1 year suspension from a school, this shows so much responsibility. I mean, they were only 15-7 right now, and they were plagued with injuries. So, I mean, it wasn't the best season for the team anyway, so I guess the suspension – I guess the suspension for the tournament from the school was good for them.
And to make their team look like, oh, yes, thank God we had this.
Yeah, you know what? Don't even have to worry about the tournament. Let's just get ready for next season when they have a lot of good recruits coming in. One of Jim Boeheim's best recruiting classes ever, in my opinion. So,
he's a Hall of Fame coach, too.
He's a Hall of Fame coach, great coach.
That guy's amazing.
And I'm glad that Syracuse figured this out before it got blown out of proportion by the NCAA because you know how they do things. They see something and they just take it and run with it.
Pretty much, you know. Well, since we're on NCAA, we have a big game coming up Saturday between the Kentucky Wildcats and the Florida Gators.
Yeah, you know how I feel about Kentucky, best team in the country.
Chomp. I'm calling it upset. I'm calling it, baby. Florida Gators are winning in overtime, 68-65.
He, like most people in the country, do not want to see Kentucky win. But like I told you last week, Mark, Kentucky's defense is amazing. Their defense is crazy. They're continuing to improve on offense, and I don't see any team beating them. But If there was a team, I guess it would be someone like Gonzaga. Actually, no. Gonzaga's a really good team with good guard play. Kevin Pangos, I believe Pangos is how you pronounce his last name. His basketball IQ is amazing. He's a great shooter. They have Kyle Wilcher, another let-out shooter. Their big men's pretty good also, but they don't have enough talented big men to hang with guys like Cauley Stein and Carl Anthony.
Yeah, it's just all about heart, I think. I know you might say it might be about athletic ability, but I think it's all about the heart. Because there's a team out there. Kentucky can lose in the first round. You never know. Well, even though that's never really happened before, but
I don't know. Like I said, Kentucky, I still believe they're going to go all the way. Even when they've played bad games against teams like Ole Miss and Texas A&M, there's never any doubt that they lose 2 games this season, which I don't think
so
they will.
So you calling those bad games and not just
They played bad. They played terrible, and they came out with the dub. But they lose those 2 games, they still go to the national championship. The only thing that teaches them is that you bounce back from a loss. The only thing that teaches them is you lose and you get better. They play Ole Miss again. There's no way Ole Miss comes within 2 points or 3 points of that game. There's no way.
Are you kidding me?
Ole
a team
Miss.
that sent them to overtime, you don't believe that they will come close to beating them?
They played terrible, Mark. They played terrible. They played
terrible, as Charles Barkley.
They played terrible. I mean, there's no way that Ole Miss or Texas A&M sends them into
I agree with Texas A&M. I don't think they would be able to send them to another overtime. But anyways, as we're sticking in college, let's go over to college football. You know, we had National Signing Day. Special shout out to Matt McCann.
And shout out to Adam
Chittard.
Solomon here at Chittard. Solomon's Illinois commit.
And Matt McCann is a Purdue commit. I wish you guys the best of luck
in your next couple of years in college. While we're on football, let's go ahead and talk about everybody's favorite quarterback, Johnny Manziel. Entering rehab. I love Johnny Manziel. He's a charismatic guy who seems like a lot of fun to be around. But when it comes to football, it kind of disgusts me to watch him sometimes. In college, loved watching the kid. He's one of my favorite college players to watch. But now in the NFL, it's just like, why are you even here if you don't want to play?
I don't think he was NFL ready.
No, he wasn't NFL ready. But, I mean, Texas A&M was probably done with him. If you think about it, I mean, he caused so much trouble, and he was probably done with college. Johnny Manziel probably was tired of hearing Johnny Manziel doing this, Johnny Manziel doing this. Let him play football is what he probably saying. Now he wanted to play football, and now he doesn't want to be serious.
He didn't live up to the expectations.
He did not.
Thought he would.
I mean, it's only his rookie season, and when you look at a guy like Johnny Manziel, you look at him like, gosh, I want him to be like what Russell Wilson is. You know, they're both 5'11". They both their hands about the same size. Both have pretty good arm strength. You look at Russell Wilson, you're like, he does this for the Seahawks. That's what I want Johnny Manziel to do for my Browns team. That's for my Browns organization.
Yeah, and I agree. Like him entering rehab, it just shows like a step in his life that he's responsibility, and by responsibility that can get you far. We've seen all the greats do it that might have entered rehab, and Johnny Manziel is going to be really. He might be decent next year. I give him decent.
It shows him growing up and that he's becoming serious, and it's great that the Browns are sticking by him. Because I think Johnny Manziel's going to come back a lot better than he did this season. He only started a couple games this season. Remember that. He didn't get that much time.
Yeah, towards the end of the season.
We didn't get to really see how Johnny Manziel's going to play. That's what everybody was really looking for. Everybody was waiting for, Johnny Manziel. That's what everybody was waiting for. So when we did get to see him play, he didn't live up. And he's living down to his buddy LeBron's name. We know LeBron's a big friend of his. He's living down that name. And I think Johnny Manziel, after this rehab session, he's going to come back a more serious player, come to the Browns organization, and play his heart out and his lights out. He just has to remember to stay focused because Johnny Manziel, he has all the talent in the world. And all he has to do is take it and run with it.
And I'm telling you that's not going to change his gameplay. I mean,
no, he'll
not
still
the
play
first
well.
year. He still played well, but he's going to have to learn and adapt, and he's going to also have to be a leader because if he's not a leader, he's not going to be anything.
Yeah,
that's just the truth right there.
And speaking of leading, I think it's a good example. Josh Gordon should follow that example.
That guy Josh there.
He upsets me so much. He's suspended for another season. Suspended for another season for the drug policy. Same thing. If you have all that talent and you're just throwing it to waste, there's kids that look up to you. There's kids in the street right now playing football that look up to you, and you're throwing it away for a couple of drinks. If I had all that talent, you would see me every week. I'm
in the
practicing
weight room
getting better. Every day, just practicing getting better. In 2013, he had 87 catches at 1,646 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns.
Those numbers are crazy. Ridiculous.
Last season, he failed to score in 5 games. And he failed to eclipse the 50-yard mark in 3 of those games. That's not the Josh Gordon we're used to seeing, and we know that's not the Josh Gordon that the NFL is going to be used to seeing. Because when and if he returns to a team, I don't think the Browns should cut him, but when and if he returns to a team, I think he's going to have to take it a little bit more serious. I think he should go to a rehab facility also, get himself checked out. He's yet to admit to being an addict to drugs or alcohol. He's yet to admit to it. But when he's able to admit to himself that this is a serious problem, that this is serious, then he will be the Josh Gordon that we are used to seeing.
Right. But the only thing there is because, like, when you see, like, different numbers he put up in 2013
yes,
to the numbers he put up now is because the year, like, when he was coming off the suspension, they cut him some slack. But this year they won't cut him no slack next year. Just because of he got suspended last year. So.
I agree. They're not going to cut him any slack. He's going to go to Roger Goodell. He's going to say, I'm checking myself in the facility. I'm trying to be serious. Please let me play next season.
He's going to say no.
He's going to say no because we gave you a chance last season. He's supposed to be suspended all last season. They let him come back.
It's a shame. You have people out here that are really trying to get to the NFL, and they see this, and they're like, wait, this could be me, but they just don't understand. And it's just going to be – it's very sad, really, that he can't, like, show up and just – show out. Like, he's a wonderful receiver.
He's a great receiver.
If you don't know that much about him, you should really Google him.
It's tough, and it's terrible, and it's tough. And speaking of, while we're in the NFL, we're just going to go ahead and talk about RG3 and the letter that the Redskins organization sent out. I think it's kind of weird that they would send that out at this time, not knowing who their starting quarterback was. They sent out a letter to all their fans to use don't know the season ticket holders, showing the nucleus of the team, and RG3 wasn't on the team. Actually, no quarterback was on the team. And if you're going to send a letter like that out with your nucleus, make sure you have your starting quarterback on there.
Yeah, but there was talks that letter has been accidentally messed up. But,
there's no way.
I feel like RG3 is possibly on the trade block.
RG3,
do you agree?
No, because I feel like Gruden's still trying to figure out who the quarterback is. Is it him or Colt? Colt didn't play.
Oh no, Colt McCoy.
He didn't.
I would take RG3 over Colt McCoy.
There's a challenge. I agree, but there's a challenge right now in the Redskins organization for who's going to start at quarterback next season. I mean, nobody was saying this when RG3 took them to the playoffs, or RG3 had a great season. It's just because like he had a bad season. You can't give up on your quarterback after a bad season. You have to make RG3 the nucleus of your team. You can't exclude him. Build his confidence up. When RG3 is playing confident in his body, confident in himself, RG3 is playing great because like Johnny Manziel, he's a talent. This guy's a talent. In order to have
I don't think they have the right coach, to be honest.
I
RG3
agree.
doesn't fit underneath him. Like, he's just not a really good coach at all.
In order to have a championship team, you need a good quarterback. You need a good coach, of course.
Yeah, and the Redskins
quarterback.
they're not even in the talk of the playoffs, so we really can't. But they do have a good receiving core over there. You know, you have Jackson over there, you got Hassan.
And they can have a good team. They can have a good team is what I'm saying. Like you said, they have a really good receiving core. Deshaun's a great player. Just put a quarterback in there. Deshaun likes RG3. I don't think he has a problem with Colt McCoy either, but I know he likes RG3. Put a good quarterback in there. Like RG3, help him build his confidence, help him work through some little things, some small things he needs to work on right now. And you have an okay team next season. I can see them
by 7 or 8 wins, if you want to say.
I can see them having 9 wins.
9 wins?
Not next season.
Say.
Not next season. 9 wins, not next season. But in the near future, maybe 2 years, if they build RG3's confidence up, receiving core is great. Whoever their defensive coordinator is over there, he works on their defense. Because they have potential to be a good team. There's a lot of talent in the Redskins organization. If you're in the NFL, you're not bad. You can't be in a National Football League and be a bad player. Everybody over there has some type of talent. You just have to get it out of the players.
Yeah,
that's what the great coaches do.
The hard work and determination you put in.
Exactly.
To get to the NFL, so.
You have to make sure everybody in your organization is working hard. The great coaches, the great players. They push it out of themselves.
Yeah, so they can't really just say, "Oh, you're in the NFL. You're not really that good."
Yeah, everybody in the organization. There's no bad players in the organization. There's people that are playing bad, but none of them are bad. So everybody over there is good. RG3, yeah, for example.
But he will get better, so we really can't diss on RG3.
He'll get better, and the team will get better. They continue to get better after they figure out what's going on over there. The letter was a kick to their own butt. They kicked themselves in the butt.
You can't put your quarterback down like that.
You can't put your backup quarterback down like that. I mean, RG3 was in the backup for half the season, and you guys aren't putting him in there. If you're gonna send a letter out excluding a quarterback, don't send it at all because it's pointless. There's no point in sending a letter out that's excluding a quarterback, even if it's Colt or RG3. Put somebody in there. That's really disrespectful and a kick to his face. They're sending a message to him, telling him that you're not going to walk in here and start this season.
Well, they're really not. That's not what they're trying to do. I feel like they're just trying to motivate RG3. It's off season. They're gonna tough love pretty much. Because, for example, the Browns, they did the same thing with Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, Brian. But the difference is that Brian Hoyer was producing. I guess Brian Hoyer didn't have a bad season. Honestly, it got worse as the season went on. And this is Brian Hoyer's contract year. Also, speaking of the Browns, he's gonna be a free agent this season, I believe.
They might re-sign him though, just to
maybe it's a possibility.
Now we're on the basketball.
We're back on basketball. This time the NBA. Everybody's favorite team to talk about right now, the Atlanta Hawks. How they just lost their first game in 21 games. Went on a 19-game losing streak. 19-game winning streak. I apologize. Throughout their 19-game winning streak, they averaged 105 points, 13 assists, 42 rebounds, and 27 assists per game. They got tied for the fifth longest streak in NBA history, and it was super cool that the NBA honored all 5 players as Player of the Month, and none of the stars that were selected for the All-Star game averaged over 20 points.
Well, you know what? I have to congratulate the Atlanta Hawks on
They're playing amazing
accomplishment. But also, when they did that, they showed that the streak they had is amazing. There's greats like the Lakers, 71 team that did that.
They did.
Shots to Laker Nation.
Shots to Laker Nation.
But, it just shows that the NBA isn't strictly one player because it takes a team to win a national championship or NBA championship, if you want to say it.
And that was a big argument with, like, LeBron at the time because, LeBron can make a team or break a team. LeBron and the Cavs, they're playing a lot better right now. Yeah, they're playing a lot better right now with LeBron. When they weren't with LeBron, I think they went on a 6-game losing streak. It was a big thing in the NBA if a team can win without like one star player, and the Spurs showed us last year. You can't argue that Tim Duncan's a GOAT, one of the greatest of all time, but he wasn't playing to his past expectations how he used to play in the past, where he would 20 and 13, just he wasn't putting up those numbers, but he was putting up supporting numbers. And their whole Spurs organization was. This is what the Atlanta Hawks remind me of, the really good Spurs team, or one of the past really good Piston teams with Chauncey Billups on. Jeff Teague is playing great right now, great offense, great defense. Kyle Korver's shooting light out.
The team is flat out amazing. You have all the players playing good. Okay, so what? They lost one game over a 19-game stretch.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
20-game stretch.
20-game stretch.
Kyle Korver's averaging percentage-wise 50% 3-point line.
He's leading the league in
50% from the field goal line, and 90% from the free throw line. The Hawks, Warriors, or the Cavs?
I'm gonna go with the Cavs, Cameron.
Tell me why. Because
the Cavs, man, I'm telling you, this team is looking scary right about now.
I agree.
And it's just the right time. You have All-Star break coming up, and you just want to have some momentum going into All-Star break. And they're a team that could compete with a team like out west, like the San Antonio Spurs in a 7-game series. Because you have LeBron. Whenever you have LeBron, you can't count this team out. And I know people were talking about earlier in the season how they have been a team with lack of chemistry, but as of right now, I see the chemistry. And J.R. Smith, he's helped his team out too.
A lot, yeah, but
he kind of wanted to leave New York.
They can't. They can compete with the Spurs. They can't.
Who you got?
I got the Hawks.
You have the Hawks?
Because the Hawks are a great team, but I'm gonna go back on that in a second. The Cavs can't compete with the Warriors. They can. It'd be 4-3 Warriors if it was Warriors and Cavs. 4-3. Why? Because Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson can shoot with anybody in their face. They can score the ball with anybody in their face. Like I said, David Lee's a really, really, really good big man. David Lee's a really, really good big man. The only reason I have the Hawks instead of the Warriors because I had either the Hawks or the Warriors. And I know everybody has them right now. They're playing really good, but the Hawks play team basketball. And everybody that's ever played basketball knows that the first rule is play as a team, play together. The Hawks, nobody on their team averages over 20 points, but they have 3 All-Stars. Their whole team was Player of the Month, as we mentioned earlier. Right now, nothing gets better than the way the Hawks are playing. They're playing intelligent. They're making it fun to watch. Jeff Teague is a dog.
Yeah, I have to
The
agree with that.
man can play basketball.
But he's not better than no
Shout out
Kyrie
to
Irving.
T. He can guard Kyrie Irving. This
Oh.
man can play. Kyrie Irving is one of the best dribblers right now and one of the best offensive players in the NBA right now. But Jeff T can play defense on Kyrie.
Well, I would like to see that. Well, that's all we have here today.
That's all we have for today.
Thanks for watching.